Hello, it's Daryl at 10-Foot Truck. Good Attitude Services. And I gotta get this thing lined up there. I just got done with a furniture pickup. I can't see that. There, is that it? Just got done with the furniture pickup, and I'm taking it over to donation. I think I should be able to donate it all. So I gotta head back. The customer's really nice. They were out from out of state. They hired me to move their sister, who's going into rehab, or she's going from a assisted living, or no, it's like a 55 plus living to now she has to go to a care center. And so they had to they tried to sell some stuff, and the rest they're going to donate. So I'm going to take it to donation. So, and then that's great. Is they took my card and they said they passed the card out there. There's I don't know how many thousands of people that live there, and there's a lot of people in and out of there. They're there, and then they go to another. They might have to move out. So there was a lady there that she needed her stuff taken out too. I told her, yeah, I could do that too. So there could be a potential of a lot of customers. So I was glad that they went and passed out my card. So now I'm going to head over to the donation center and see if they'll take all this. If not, it seems like nice stuff, so I don't see why they wouldn't take it. It looks like it's really nice. So hopefully, I'm pretty sure they're going to take it. They might not take the desk, but the desk, because it's a prefab desk, but it seemed like it was in good shape. Maybe I'll just take the desk, because if they can't take it there, because it seems like a nice desk. I'm going to head out, and I'm going to figure out where I'm going. Just thought I'd do a little video here while I'm moving around. Haven't done one in a while.
At the stop sign, turn right onto North Division Street, then turn right onto East Kotza Drive.
I hope this is a main street, so I don't know. I can't remember if this is the best way to go. I thought I came out from that way. I don't come out in this area very often, so it's not my stomping ground. So I'm going to have to wait to see how this works. This looks pretty busy out here. This is like a freeway right here, so you got to be careful when you get out of the traffic. There's a lot of people, a lot of cars, a lot of malls. No light right here. You think there'd be a light? Just constant traffic. Non-stop. Oh, there's a light here, I guess. Well, that's just crosswalk. Oh man, it's gonna back up all the way. Yeah, one thing about this area, it's not as convenient as where I live. That's the way the city's designed is just kind of messed up. But I don't think they expected the amount of people to move here. Let's see, should I take a left? I think I have to go right, see. I don't know this area good enough to figure out. I'm going to have to follow that GPS. Let's see, I was saying take a U-turn. Okay, I'm going to take a right here.
At the light, turn right onto East Kotza Drive.
Okay, I'll just follow the GPS. See what happens there.
Continue on East Kotza Drive for 3/4 of a mile.
Yeah, it's a different world out here compared to where I live. One thing about where I live is that the way the freeways are set up, and the way that it's like a grid system. It's really easy to get around. We're here. You get stuck in these gridlock areas. I think the city just grew too fast, probably. So I'm going to head over to ARC. The ARC, I don't know if any of you guys have the ARC in your area. The ARC is it's a place that you can donate, and they give the money to when they sell. They sell. It's like Goodwill and those places, and they have their beneficiaries that they donate, or I'm not exactly sure. how it works, but I know the people there are very nice. They work there, and they seem to be do well for the community. So I prefer to donate to them as opposed to Goodwill if I'm going to choose. Also, Habitat for Humanity, I've donated them. But,
in 1,000 feet, turn right onto North Nevada Street.
But the Ark seems to be the best. And they seem to be. That's a rough road. You need to fix this road.
At the stop sign, turn right onto
And that's
North
the thing
Nevada
here
Street.
too. One thing about this area, Spokane, the city, it's Spokane, where I'm at, is I've noticed the roads are a lot more damaged. I know that it snows a lot, so that's one reason. But also they just don't fix them as often. And then in the valley where I live, Spokane Valley, they seem to fix the roads more often, even though you have the same weather pattern, the same damage, but they seem to fix them better. So I don't know why that is. I assume it's something to do with tax money and how they manage it. So this road's okay, but yeah, some of these back roads
Continue
are
for
terrible.
5 miles.
5 miles. Oh, they want to go down. Oh, well, I might be going a different way home. Maybe the window's better. It's actually kind of cool today. It's not really a hot day. It's a nice summer, cool day with clouds. I prefer this kind of weather. It's nice. But the last few days have been really hot, man. Extremely hot. Yeah, it's supposed to get hot again. That's the thing about GPS, you gotta really be careful. It'll take you a long way. I know it's better to go that way in the long run. It's better to go that way. They're gonna take you to the city which I don't want to go through. So I'm gonna have to turn back around and go that way too. And that's the thing about up here. I've run into that before several times coming up this area where the GPS sends me right to the city. Much better to go around to where I go, go back around on the back area, farm area, and then come back around. So it's much more peaceful. Maybe a little bit longer, but it's just less stressful because you're not going through downtown city traffic. So I'm gonna have to get back on that area. I don't know why I did that. Look at this traffic. It's ridiculous. Okay, I have to figure out a way to get out of here. You have to know your city, know your area. Or you get stuck like this. Always have to do that area.
Head east on East Dalkey Avenue toward North Morden Street. In 500 feet, turn left onto North Morden Street. Turn left onto North Morden Street, then turn right onto East Francis Avenue.
Yeah, that's where we're going.
At the stop sign, turn right onto East Francis Avenue.
Great tool, you gotta be careful. You gotta know your city, know your area. If I didn't know your area, I'd just go down to the other side of town.
Continue on East Francis Avenue for 1.5 miles. on North Helena Street toward East Decatur Avenue, then turn left onto East Decatur Avenue. Turn left onto East Decatur Avenue. Head west on East Decatur Avenue toward North Perry Street. In 500 feet, turn right onto North Perry Street. Turn right onto North Perry Street, then turn right onto East Francis Avenue. At the stop sign, turn right. Head north on North Morden Street toward East Francis Avenue, then turn right onto East Francis Avenue. At the stop sign, turn right onto East Francis Avenue. Continue on East Francis Avenue for 1.5 miles.
Turning around. That could have been down the street. No problem. like those, back to that customer, it was, I believe it was a 55 plus.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto North Market Street.
Apartment complex, and they always have elevators. So one thing my one complaint about those places, not all of them are like that, but is they don't have service elevators, or first of all, there's no loading zone, so you have to
At the light, turn right onto North Market Street.
You have to struggle to get parking. And then they don't have a freight elevator or a service elevator, so you're finding with you have these people in wheelchairs, and they're they have to get around. They have mobility issues, and they're trying to get in the elevator, and you're in there trying to move furniture, and it's kind of a pain for them, and mainly because they live there, shouldn't have to be hassling with that. But you got to get the stuff out of there, so you got to get out. There's no stairs, so you're it really doesn't make any sense not to have a service elevator, so that you can so you're not getting in the way of the clients. So if people live there, inconveniencing them, and then blocking their parking and stuff. So that's my complaint about those places. If they build them, they should really put people in and out of those places constantly. It's a high turnover. Well, she said her sister was there for 10 years, so that's a long time. But it's probably more high turnover than that. You know, people go into rehab, and you know, after say for injuries or whatever it is, they may have to go into care facilities, so they have to move all their stuff out, and then they move in there when they, you know, for whatever reason. And so it's a very high turnover. It's like apartments, there's people in and out of there. And the same thing with apartments. Like why don't they have service elevators? Or I've been in a lot of apartments that didn't have service elevators, and you had to block the big pane. And then there are apartments that I've been into, higher end apartments that have service elevator. Piece of cake, it's easy. You have the elevator specifically for your loads, loading and loading. You're not hassling, you're not blockading tenants that are in and out of there. And they have a loading dock. You know, that's the right way to do it is have a loading dock or a loading zone and a service elevator when you have those apartments. You know, not jeopardizing clients and making it a hassle for everybody, and that's just to save money, because in the end people complain. I noticed that people have some sour looks on their face because we were in there in the elevator with the furniture. I was trying to be nice and not block anybody, but it's very difficult, and that's my main complaint about places like that is they should invest in that because of the fact that so many people moving in and out. But everybody's trying to save money and trying to cut corners. It seems to me like all these new apartments, it's all about cutting corners. You know, no parking, no loading zone. You know, like, but in the end, it just becomes a big hassle. People don't want to live there. Like, it's a negative experience. And you know, you want these people to spend all that money. They should have a positive experience. That's just my take on that. See how this way if I went downtown, this is nice and clear, it's no traffic, you're driving around the countryside. I don't know, GPS. Guess I got a lot of complaints today though. I should be positive. Made some money, had some cool customers, they're going to pass my card out. You know, it might be some referrals. I don't know if I want to go back out to that place. I mean, it was okay, but it's kind of out of the way, and then the way they set that place up, it's kind of inconvenient. I mean, of course, I'm not going to turn a job down, but it's just I've been in better facilities. I just noticed the trend lately with these newer buildings, and because it's the older complexes, like the ones that you know, the older ones they built with those conveniences. And now you got more traffic and more people and more problems, and they make it less convenient. So I know why they're doing it. They're not going to admit it, but I know they're trying to cut corners because it's very expensive to build a service elevator. It's very expensive to have extra parking for loading zones and a loading dock. It costs money, but it sure makes the experience much better for the clients, for the people moving in. I go into some of these apartments and like, where the hell do you park a truck? Like, my truck's not that big, but like you go in there with like 26-foot moving van, where are you going to park this thing? Because you're blockading everybody because there's nowhere to park. And you know when you're moving an apartment like a 3-bedroom or a bigger apartment, it's going to take 4 or 5 hours. So you're having to block all these people from going in and out of there just to, or you got to park. Like, here's a good example. I moved a client years ago. I'll give you an example. I'm trying to get gas now. I'm just gonna go. Okay. I'll give you an example here in a minute. So I moved this client from an apartment to it was a 55 plus. You know, it was a senior living. That's what I call it, 55 plus senior living. It's a senior living apartment, and it was in Seattle. That's why I lived over in Seattle. And it was unbelievably, I mean, it was ridiculous. It was like a 26-foot truck full. She had a lot of stuff. 2-bedroom, but she had a lot of stuff. And the place she was moving to had no parking. It was on a main street. The front of the place was a bus stop, so you couldn't park it. You couldn't park where the bus comes in and stop. The loading dock you can't go in there. It wasn't tall enough to go, like you couldn't back a big truck into a loading dock. It was underground, it was like an underground basement. And you couldn't park next door because it was a business. So you had to drive across the street. And across the street was only one parking place available. And you had to walk up. The street went up like when it was elevated, so it was like a hill. So you had to go up this hill. So when we put the truck up there, everything was leaning like this. You know, loading truck, when you open the doors, everything's going to fall out. And like, some stuff fell out. She got all angry about it. We didn't break anything or anything, but it was leaning like that. So it was very difficult, very challenging. Stuff was falling over. That's when you want to tie your loads down in case something like that happens. You really want to tie your loads down. I do tie my loads down. But, so, on top of that, you had to walk across a busy street with furniture because her place, you had to cross this like busy street to get to her apartment. And we're talking about a 26-foot truck packed. And we had to go every time. And then we had to walk down the street, down to the loading dock, walk down a hill, into an elevator, and then walk like a mile down this hallway. It took forever. I mean, I was so tired. It was ridiculous. Unbelievable. Yeah, and that's because of the place that they built. They didn't build parking. They didn't add any kind of area for a moving van. The front of it was a bus stop. There was nowhere to park. So you can run into these places that are absolutely horrid. I mean, like, that could have been like a 2-hour job. Like, well, no, not 2-hour job because it's a 26-foot truck. It could have been like a 6-hour job, probably, from start to end. It turned into like a 14-hour job. We were like, it was so brutal. I had 3 guys. I think
in 1,000 feet, turn left onto East Upriver Drive.
I don't want to listen to that thing. One of the guys I work with, I felt bad because it went to 1 o'clock in the morning. Like, that's how late it went. I had to take the truck back because I'd rented the truck. It wasn't mine. I rented a 26-foot commercial truck with a liftgate and all that.
At the light, turn left onto East Upriver Drive.
I'm not going to listen to that thing. So, the guy that I work with, one of my helpers, he also had a paper route, and he delivered papers in the morning. And I felt so bad because I didn't know it was going to take that long. And I told him, man, maybe you should go. He's like, he stayed. And he just went directly to his job because if you deliver papers in the morning, so he went straight to his job. I mean, I shouldn't laugh. It was terrible. You got no sleep. So that's my example of a job that. Shut that off because I don't want to hear it. That's an example of a job where the parking, the loading, just makes it so bad, like for moving, and they don't even think about it, and the managers don't care because they didn't build the place, and the people who built it, they're just cutting corners, and then the clients it's a bad experience. I mean, like, and that was another thing. They didn't have a loading elevator. They didn't have a freight elevator. We had to use the elevator for the customers. I mean, for the people who lived there, and they were pissed off because we were. I mean, I got example of example. There's another one. I mean, I don't want to go into all the examples of that. There was another one where we were on the side of a hill like that, and it was a moving van, and it was bad enough, and we had to take the furniture down the hill. Like, it was like, if you let go of that dolly, the stuff would just fly into the main street. Like, it was that dangerous. And then going into the place was a downhill again. Oh no, it was an uphill, and it was weird. It was just sitting on a hill, this condominium. That wasn't the worst part of it. It was up, I don't know how many flights up it was. The elevator broke, and it was the only, it wasn't a service elevator, it was the only elevator that, for the complex. And they blamed us for it, like they were all angry that we broke the elevator because we were putting furniture in there, which wasn't true. No, that wasn't true at all, but like, that's just two examples of probably thousands of examples I could come up with. I could do a whole book on apartment complexes that have no service elevator or no loading dock, because it takes literally it's not even. Okay, here's another thing that I'm going to tell you, but it's not even the inconvenience for the people that live there and they're angry because you're using their elevator and all that. It's also bad for the customer, because the customers, and we're charging per hour, so each hour that goes by they're paying for. So and it's expensive, you know. You should be paying $100 an hour, whatever it is. So they're paying double to triple the amount of money on a job like that because of how these people cut corners and didn't put a service elevator or a little freight elevator. Because, well, here's another example. I mean, like I say, I can go hours. I can go an hour. I mean, I have so many examples. I'm only going to give you like 3 or 4, but I could give you literally. I'm not kidding when I say it's thousands of situations that I've come across where this is a problem, and especially in the last, I would say in the last 10 years, because before that, they didn't build buildings like that. They weren't cutting those kind of corners. They were actually putting freight elevators. They were actually putting, loading docks. And anyway, it takes like triple the time, sometimes more, just because of this. Sometimes you have to walk across the parking garage. I got to get back to this one that was really bad. I'm losing track of it. I'm also concentrating on driving. But, what was the one that I was going to say? Okay, I told you about the one on the side of the hill, the other one with the bus stop, and the one with the parking garage. I think that's one. God, there was one that was really bad. I just completely lost track of what else. I'll come back to it, but it was like, it literally took like the customer, they're losing money. The people who live there are not happy. It's just all around bad experience for everybody. And these are places that people move in and out of all the time, so they're seeing that happen all the time. I'll have to think about. There was one I had a really funny story. I just forgot it. God, I wish I would remember. I'll have to remember later and tell you about it. But yeah, and I mean, there was a place that I moved. Now I'm not going to tell you a bad story. The good story is the place with the loading dock. You drive in, the building is a skyscraper. You drive, you can put a full 30-foot truck or 26-foot truck all the way down into you drive in. There's a whole area, and it has a full loading dock where you back your truck up. And there's 2 freight elevators in and out of that place so fast. I mean, that's the way it should be done. That's the way it should be done. But people like to cut corners. These developers, or of course they cut every single corner to save money, to make more money, to charge more rent. In the end, it's just, in my honest opinion, it's absolute 100% greed. That's it. It's greed. And anyone who's living their life like that and presenting themselves and doing business in a greed mentality, I don't think that's the way you should live. But it happens a lot, because I see a lot of these places like that. Like I said, this come across this place with no parking, and it's crazy. But I had another story. I just can't remember it. It's like, because I'd have to think about all these. I just know there was a bunch. Well, I know there was one where we had to walk, because of the way it was set up, that we had to walk across the parking garage, like dodging cars, and just to get to the elevator the one elevator they had, and going across from one building to the next, it took all day long. Like at one job, it went from a 6-hour job to maybe a 14 to 15-hour job, maybe 16-hour job. It was like, so if you do say $100 an hour, or whatever you're charging, it increases the amounts. It's extremely unfortunate for customers, and you have to deal with that. First of all, you can't expect the customer to know these things. Like, maybe that's why I'm doing this video, because you can't expect people to know like the concept of like loading a freight elevator and how fast. When you're dealing with logistics and moving things around, you start to learn fast about how things take time and how you can shorten the amount of time. And so I'm just telling all customers out there, if you're moving into a place that doesn't have a loading zone, it doesn't have a loading, and you ask the manager right away, where's the loading zone? If there's an elevator in the building, if it's a 10-foot story, or 10-story, or 4-story, anything above 3, you need an elevator, in my opinion. So if it's above 4 or 4 stories above, is there a freight elevator? If they say no, I'd say, you know what, I wouldn't be interested in that place, because it just doesn't make sense that they do that. And then it's more common now than that's what I'm saying. It's more common now than it was in the past. You run across some of these that are so bad. They're just on a main street. There's no parking. There's no loading. There's nothing. You got to park way down. You got to walk all the stuff. You got to shuttle the furniture. I've come across that. I actually did jobs doing that, where my job was to shuttle the small, to get a small truck and shuttle the furniture from a large semi truck. And I've done that. I drove moving a semi truck for a moving company, so I know how hard it is to get a semi truck into a city. In fact, I did one where it was downtown. I had to move a lady in an apartment in downtown San Francisco, and I was in a 48-foot trailer semi truck. We had to put cones all around, and we had to park. We were blocking the whole street. I mean, sometimes you have to get a permit. I've had jobs where I had to get permits from the city. The customer had to get permits to because there was no parking for a semi truck. So that's even worse. I can't imagine. I know they do a lot of shuttling for those type of moves. So here we are. We're heading into. Hopefully, they're doing some donations today. Let's see. Sometimes they don't have the donation spot open, but these are real nice people, so we'll see. I'm still trying to think of that story where one of the worst I've ever come across without the freight elevator. Hey, I'm willing to do it. I mean, because it's I'm making more money, but it's a pain. It's like, oh, that's one of those little Daihatsus. Oh, they're cool. Okay, let's see what they say here. Drop off 8 to 4, Monday through Saturday. Let's see, I think he's there. Let me look. I'm back up here. Let's see. Ask him. If he doesn't want to take it, that's fine. I can go to Valley Village, I guess. This place is the best. It comes down to. Let's see. I'll be back. Like twice, and it was closed, because sometimes they're closed. And so we got frustrated. We took it down to Valley. I would have taken it here, though. Like I said, I've taken entire houses of furniture there. Like one customer, she had a 5-bedroom house. I mean, it's a big house. I don't know how many bedrooms, 3 or 4 bedrooms maybe. It was a big house, and it was a lot of furniture. I took like 3 or 4 loads, all to there, all nice stuff. And one time I took a bunch of Christmas. I got like this lady had a storage unit full of customer. We were getting full of Christmas stuff, and it was right around Christmas time, like pretty much coming around Christmas. And they were happy I donated all that. Oh no, that's right, I donated at the Goodwill. I forgot. That was after. Then I came here. I don't know. I just have a bad experience. Not that I hate Goodwill. I don't dislike Goodwill. It's just ever since I've been here, I just like this place better. People are nicer. In fact, I asked him if he was hiring because I thought, well, hey, I could work here. He said they're not hiring there. They're hiring. They might be hiring at the other facility. I just know that they're nice people, and it'd be a good place to work. And they do good things for the community. That's the thing too. They're good people. So now I'm heading home. Let me get on the freeway here. Oh God, I'm gonna get across here. It's too late. Yeah, so that was good. So it basically took me hardly any time at all. I just picked up the furniture. It was just mostly driving, and dropped it off at my favorite donation place and made them happy because it was vintage furniture. We had a little conversation about how the cool vintage 60s furniture, and so all in all, it's been a good day so far, except for some of the deal with GPS. That wasn't good, but truck's running good. Oh, that was another thing I want to talk about that I was upset about. When I got a new insurance policy recently for the truck. And it actually brought the price down a bit, but they took away, at least I'm going to have to call them again, but they said they don't have, and I've had this for years. Oh God, what am I thinking now? Roadside assistance, sorry. They don't have it for this truck anymore, like, because this truck's a box truck. So they're saying they don't they can't give me roadside assistance for this box truck. And I need it, man. I need to get towed. Like, I mean, they can tow it with a flatbed. I've been towed like 3 or 4 times on with a flatbed when I had problems when the belts went out and stuff. And it saved me, you know.